Welcome to Prime Life. We call it Retirement 2.0. Leave each episode with tips and new ideas to help you navigate retirement in our new age. It's your time. Make it count.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as medical, investment, or financial advice. We do not sponsor or endorse any of the individuals, companies, products, or services featured on this podcast. Any statements or opinions expressed are of the individual who makes them. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Prime Life podcast. I'm Mary Crean. I'm flying solo today, but I really have a very fabulous guest. And before I introduce her, I will say that she stood out to me right away. I was fortunate to be part of a program at UPenn, and she was among my favorite presenters, teachers, professors, I'm going to call her. She's amazing. So without further ado, her name is Maureen Edwards, and she's an award-winning entrepreneur, branding expert, and business strategist who has founded 6 successful companies and, get this, earned over 30 industry awards, which is very impressive. She's the founder of Ingennicom Communications, where she empowers businesses to drive revenue, build sustainability, and embrace innovation, all of the things we'd love to talk about on Prime Life, especially with the 55 plus crowd. Maureen specializes in AI integration, and we're going to be talking about that today. Maureen, welcome to Prime Life Podcast. Please tell our guests a little bit about yourself and what you're up to these days.
Well, thank you so much, Mary, for having me, and welcome everybody. Especially my 55-plussers out there who are ready to learn more about what's going on out there in the AI world. So I'm very excited about this conversation. And yeah, you said a little bit about entrepreneurship there, and I, have a real passion for building things. I've been from the corporate world, but, been an entrepreneur for many, many years. And I really, look at, what is out there, what is going on in the world, where are the gaps, where are the trends? It's kind of that visionary, part of me. And I think that's one of the reasons why with my company Ingennicom, my agency that I've had for 12 years, that I've had these aha moments saying, wow, we're in the 4th industrial revolution right now called AI, and made a major pivot with this company to say, if we don't make this pivot in our business, then we're going to get left behind. And so that's why we're working now with companies to do the same thing. So that's kind of that business part of me that's always there and always working behind the scenes. So I love entrepreneurship and absolutely am loving this new digital revolution that's going on out there.
Well, I appreciate that. And I did watch you from a distance on LinkedIn, and I noticed that pivot, although I didn't know you super well. And I was very impressed with that in general. And I would right now love to talk about AI's impact on the workforce and why it matters now, because I think this is so important for really not just our 55 plus audience, but really anyone who's in the job market right now.
I think this is one of the biggest things that's kind of near and dear to my heart. And I have to say, one of the biggest focuses that we have with this division in my company is in workforce development, reskilling and upskilling. And it is very specialized in this specific age group. And I'll tell you why. It's a little bit of a backstory. One of the parts of my company has always been working with entrepreneurs to help them start a business, build a business, maybe even turn around a company that they started that wasn't thriving. And I noticed a trend. Our clients were always those around 50 and over. The older entrepreneurs, I have a lot of entrepreneurs who are like 70 and even 75 who were doing this. And the majority of them were all displaced in their industry. They all experienced a layoff. They all experienced sending hundreds of resumes out, unable to find a job due to ageism. And it was always like, I have got to make a living. I guess I'm going to have to open my own business. And they would end up with me and my team saying, how do I do this? But entrepreneurship should really be, I want to have passion to be my own boss, take control of my own destiny. I want to build something. This is what I want to do, not because it's a default, right? So I found myself working with entrepreneurs who had no choice. And now I'm seeing the exact same trend. We are going to be seeing so many displaced workers of all ages in a lot of ways, but it's going to hit the 55 plusers harder than most, who are already still experiencing greater ageism and greater difficulty getting back into the workforce than most. About 2/3 of those over 50 experience ageism, and it takes them much longer to find a job, and usually for less pay, less title than they are, qualified for, with all the talent that they bring to the table. So it does break my heart, and I am in that age group. And I look at myself and I look at my peers and I go, look at all the talent and expertise and experience, and then I look at AI. And I see the opportunity for them to differentiate themselves now and grab hold of something that they could own if they embrace it and they learn it, to say, you know what? I actually could put myself in a better position than I ever have to elevate my status in the workforce and jump ahead. And that's what I think is exciting right now.
Well, I love that. It's very inspirational. And you're really helping people reinvent themselves. Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about the steps that you take, and especially initially? Because I think a couple of things. AI is here, as you said, it's a revolution. I suspect there may be some individuals, really all ages, but especially maybe with the older population, that are slightly afraid of it, and they're not sure how that is going to really propel them forward. So talk a little bit about how you coach individuals and sort of take their toes and gently push them into the water and say, it's going to be fine. Here's what we're going to do. I'd love for you to talk about that.
Well, first off, it isn't just some people. I would say it's about 85% of people out there are still not embracing AI.
Okay.
There's a
Wow.
lot of fear, a lot of hesitancy, a lot of let me wait and see. I think this is a fad. It's just a trend. It's going to go away. It's kind of like when the internet came into our world. Google this, Google that. Oh, I'll just wait. I find this with my business owners out there who are established. It's kind of like a little bit of deer in headlights. Let me just wait it out. I see a lot of dabblers out there. I just went to a huge workforce development conference here in my state of Maryland. I was a speaker for that. And my first question was, how many of you out there are at least dabbling in ChatGPT? You've downloaded it, right? You've signed up for it. You've asked it a few questions. How many of you have not even attempted that? And 8 out of 10, okay, raised their hands.
Wow.
One or the other.
I did not realize that.
Yes. And just to give you a little funny story, I was at a networking event and I introduced myself, I introduced my company, and I handed my business card to a gentleman, and he said, AI solutions and implementation. And he said, what does this AI stand for? And I said, artificial intelligence. And he said, let me give you some advice. I would spell out that acronym because I didn't even know what the heck you were talking about. He was 55 plus, not 75 plus. Okay. We take for granted sometimes that it's all over the media, the government talking about it, Elon Musk starting a company. We've got 5 different companies coming here, there, and everywhere. There are like 2,000 AI platform unicorns in Silicon Valley. We take it for granted that when we throw out those 2 letters, everybody gets it. He gave me some of the best advice, Mary.
Mhm.
Here I am, a marketer for 30 years, and I didn't do a good job marketing it. I assumed everybody knew what I knew. I came back, my entire website says artificial intelligence with AI in parentheses. All of my speaking slide decks have artificial intelligence in the titles. Website content, brochures. When I introduce myself now, I specialize in artificial intelligence. We can't make that assumption because when I ask for a show of hands, I should have known better. People do not know what they do not know. And it's really up to us who are familiar to start making them more comfortable with it. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is fear, because they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Hesitancy. And so I want to take that off the table right from the beginning. It's mindset first before we get into knowledge. It's talking about opening your mind to this. And I have a mindset coach in our program who works on going from a fixed to a growth mindset in the AI world, in your job, in the culture, in the leadership. Once we get there, we then dive into the why behind why you need it. Okay. What the impact is going to be on you, and going from a job security focus to a job skills focus. All right. And how do you become more relevant and gain a competitive edge over your peers? Because AI is not going to replace you. It's your peer who knows AI who will take your job. So I try and ease them in and meet them where they are as far as their tech skills and their comfort level. That's how we start before we dive in to real world skill implementation.
So, when you start talking about fear, what is it that you have found in the work that you've been doing? What are maybe the top couple reasons for the fear when it comes to AI that you've heard?
And we'll get that answer after a brief word from our commercial sponsors.
NASA is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We offer insurance products that can help you meet your retirement goals, such as protecting your savings, securing lifetime income, or paying for healthcare costs. We're dedicated to providing best-in-class service and are keeping things simple, and we'll have your back. We have around 400,000 policyholders and contract holders and have been doing this for a long time, 170 years, but we remain humble enough to always try to improve. For more information, visit nfg.com. Nassau insurance products are issued by Nassau Life and Annuity Company of Hartford, Connecticut, Nassau Life Insurance Company, East Greenbush, New York, or Nassau Life Insurance Company of Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas. Subsidiaries of Nassau Financial Group. Products are not available in all areas. Policyholder counts are for all Nassau companies as of September 30th, 2022, and are subject to change.
The biggest one they feel is if they learn it and demonstrate it, that they'll be replaced. This is interesting. In fact, there was a company, Ignite. It was a big tech company, and he laid off 80% of his employees. 80%. Imagine a company just getting rid of everybody. And the reason was he gave them all these opportunities, professional development, to come and learn AI, to elevate his company and get it to, to being competitively aggressive and future-proof its income and its long-term goals. And they wouldn't do it. They said, no, we don't want to learn this. They resisted. And he said, why? Because if we learn this, then you'll realize how good it is and that you won't need us anymore. And he said, you know what? If you're not going to embrace this and you don't have the mindset to be curious and learn this, you're all out. He fired them all, and he hired all new people who were willing to empower it, learn it. He brought in the best professionals to teach them. And guess what? They all have jobs. They're all thriving. The business has expanded and grown in revenue because of higher productivity, greater efficiency. That's a company that will survive. The leadership is all on board, and that's what people are fearful of. They think of the movie Terminator, where the robots are coming, and what they don't realize is more jobs will actually be created with a replace, because there will be jobs replaced. I mean, let's call it what it is. There are jobs being eliminated right now, but they don't realize that if they skill, they increase their skills, they upskill, they reskill, and they prepare, they will be moved to actually higher paying jobs, more fulfilling jobs, better jobs than what they were doing prior. But they have to get on it immediately because it's moving so quickly. And that's the sense of urgency that my company and what the word I'm trying to get out, my team's trying to get out, and others are trying to get out to get these people motivated. And I'm still seeing resistance. And we're trying to say, don't resist. This is not hard.
I love that. And I do give a leader credit because they also have to worry about their business and they don't want to shrink, they want to grow. And you do have to have individuals that have a growth mindset. Personally speaking, I've reinvented myself many times. Was I afraid? Absolutely. I am a former entrepreneur. I'm not currently. And it was definitely scary because I'm like, well, what if that new opportunity that I've been driving forward to doesn't work out? Or what if I don't learn fast enough? But I've always been a curious person, and I suspect you are too. So that's more natural. But I do believe there are individuals that don't know any better in a sense where they're like, okay, I don't really need to be, I like where I am. And I am comfortable knowing what I know. And there's no need for me to step out of my comfort zone. And I know that's part of probably the conversation. So, Maureen, after you get those individuals a little bit comfortable, not so fearful, what do you do next in terms of their skill set? Like, how do you carve out what they should learn first, second, and third to get them ready for that next resume or even putting themselves out there to apply for a job with this new AI component?
Well, I think one of the things is, one, you're right. We love our comfort zone, we love habit, and we can get fixed in our ways. I don't think many people are risk takers. Entrepreneurs, I think, are naturally risk takers like yourself, and we're okay if it doesn't work out. We kind of see it as a learning opportunity, not as I really failed at this. I say to people, you really can't fail at learning AI. We're all kind of in the same position because it moves so quickly. We're all kind of learning. And if it doesn't work out, we can pick ourselves up pretty quick and think about how far ahead we are to some of the people who really are not going to ever move. So I think I always feel like when you get immediate results and you see outcomes, it is such an aha moment for yourself. When you're working and working and working at something and it's just not feeding you, you have a tendency to go, I'm just not getting anything out of it, and you get discouraged. What I love about AI, Mary, is you can see immediate results in your work. And when people do that, I just find them to just be more and more encouraged to get better and better at it. So that's one of the things that our programs do, regardless at what level you are or what tech experience you have. Because I think what holds people back, boy, it took me forever to put a Facebook page together. I'm still not even really good at doing the about section, right? I can't get on Instagram. I can't do a video. I can't do a reel, right?
Agree.
So this is easier than that. I swear it is. And you get 25 hours back in your life, doing this. Whereas I think Facebook and all of that with the death scrolling take 25 hours of your life. So think about the benefits here. I want that clear. So one of the things that we do is real world implementation. And I think you noticed that when I was an instructor at Wharton, and this is what I still do with that. I don't believe in theory. I can give you the why all day long. I can give you the where you can go get information, but I never leave you hanging out there trying to figure it out. I work in real world, real time. So what I do with everybody is demonstrate how to do it, show them the outcomes, and now you do it. I want you to go ahead and experiment with the program. We start with very simple ones. I always recommend just ChatGPT. It's the easiest one, and there are a million out there. I don't want you to get overwhelmed with all the noise. Start simple with one, and then slowly work with it. And we work at your level. Okay, look at the results. And I work in advanced prompt engineering because the more you control the robot, which is through your advanced human creativity, your human brain power, your human ability to tap into exactly what you need to say, because nobody's replacing your brain. You control the robot better than anybody. And that's what we teach. And we teach them in step-by-step levels, fully implementing each step at their own pace. And they'll see how they get better and better at it. And they have to create projects. They don't just sit there and do, stuff that doesn't matter. It's geared towards their industry. So if somebody comes to us in the finance industry, the healthcare industry, this is not generic. They build projects that they could demonstrate to an employer in an interview with an entire portfolio of work. I could hit the ground running. Here's what I've done in AI that I put on a resume. I can send you my projects. I can talk the language, but I can do the actual work. And that's what we're finding is differentiating people who are older, who are looking for work or advance their career in a professional job they're in. Or if they're a business, take that business to the next level by streamlining processes, elevating their marketing to grow customer engagement, customer sales. And so what our program does is allow you to demonstrate what you have actually learned and be able to demonstrate what you will bring to the table to move the needle for somebody else.
I love that. But I really like, I know that's why I liked you as an instructor, because I think you did that. You taught us real world in real time. And what I'm also hearing, it's not tell me, show me. So you're showing step by step. Can you give an example of an individual that you've worked with that you saw some good transformation in a short amount of time, or a company?
So we work with a lot of accountants, and accountants are very fearful because that is one industry that's being automated very, very quickly. And so one thing is we almost had to rebrand them to be tax strategists, tax coaching for their clients. And, one of the things that we had to really kind of streamline for them that was bogging them down and taking a lot of time away from actually being tax strategists and tax coaches for them was all of the enormous research about the tax codes that were changing from year to year. And it's become such a complicated business. And it was absolutely killing their employees for having to do this. Well, we taught them based on advanced prompt engineering how to take 30 hours a week out of having to study, research, update all of those tax codes within minutes, being able to then transfer that information to be able to save their clients more money than they've ever been able to do, which, transfers to happier clients, more profitable clients, but to demonstrate to new clients how much money they are saving and being able to now navigate more of a tax coaching and not just, oh, I'm your bookkeeper, I'm your accountant. No, we are actually flipping the script because we want them to gain a competitive edge over tax or accountant services out there, but almost rebrand them because this is about future-proofing. What does that industry look like? So we're using AI almost as a completely different way to brand a company, give them that competitive edge, but also save their time to streamline, be more productive, be more efficient, but be better for their clients and secure better relationships. So we went in, did the complete workshops, showed them step by step how to take all those changes, how to upload the files, watch what AI could do for them, look at the insights, provide the outcomes, clarify it all for, people who don't understand the industry jargon, which are their clients, and then roll it out. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I would also like for you to explain what advanced prompt engineering really is and talk a little bit about human in the loop. So you gave a great example with the accountants, and I love that. But we all know when we put something in, whether it's ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or whatever the platform is, we do have to review and verify some information. But if you could talk a little bit about, again, what that definition is of advanced prompt engineering, I think that would help our audience for those that don't know exactly what that means.
I think a lot of people open up AI and think that the robot is going to do all the work for them. Go ahead and write a 30-day social media calendar for my company, da 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 da. That is very generic, very basic. That is not going to help your company. You don't even demonstrate a target audience. You don't even demonstrate your brand. You're not even getting into the features and benefits. You have to be very, very specific for that AI to really have a good understanding of what you want it to do. It's floating out there with no information, okay? It's going to spit out stuff that it spits out for everybody. So we really go into the nitty gritty on how you have to think as the human being. And don't think it's going to do all the work. You have to write the email. You have to put your tone on there. You have to put your human connection on there, or it's going to be cold. Your customers are going to know it's not you. I see in social media, nobody's writing all their social media anymore. They've got a million emojis on there. Everybody, don't put those emojis on there because we all know it's AI. You took no time. You don't care about your customers anymore. Get rid of them all because everybody's doing it. And we're saying this is lazy. People are turning everything over to the robot. Well, of course, you're going to be replaced. We don't want that. And then, of course, they're not checking their work. So if you've got statistics out there, if you have research out there, not all of it is up to date. So you do have to go back, check for the errors, check for the humanness, write it as if you're talking to real people out there, because you'll find that the robot isn't human. It doesn't have the emotion. It doesn't have the feel. It's good at pulling the latest research, streamlining sentence structure, making things sound more professional, pulling insights for you, giving you ideas about outcomes, boosting a creativity that maybe you didn't think about that jumpstarts something in you. There's so many great ways it uses it, but my fear is people are going to use it as a crutch, become lazy, think that it can do everything for them. And those are the people who are going to use it wrong. And so I say to people, you really have to do a good portion of the work, but it's amazing how it's going to pull it all together for you and save a lot of the time. And you get an idea and it'll take it to the next level. You'll give it a process that you're working on and it'll streamline it beautifully in ways that you never knew even were possible. And then you go in and tweak it even more to the next level. So it's like having an executive assistant that you couldn't afford to pay for, and they're there. And you guys just get better and better together.
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. It's about, and I've heard that before, and I love that you use that. It's about having like a personal assistant. And I think sometimes the back and forth, and one of the ways I've used it is I'm very specific about the voice and the tone based on what I've inputted, that I want whatever the output is to reflect. Of course, I have to decide if that was accurate or not. And so you're right. There's a lot of human in the loop. There's a lot of double and triple checking, because sometimes when you see things that come out of AI, it's not exactly perfect. So I think it's making it very clear that you still have to do the work, but it does trim down a lot of time depending on the project. And again, how specific you are. So I think that was a really good explanation for our audience. What would you say, Maureen, are some practical next steps that you would offer our audience that perhaps they can take hold in the short term if they were in a situation where they were, maybe figuring out, what am I going to do next? Maybe I was laid off. Maybe I'm in a company and I'm starting to worry that my colleagues are all gravitating toward AI and I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines, and perhaps I better get moving on that, because I could be replaced. What do you recommend that an individual should do in terms of like maybe step 1 or step 2?
Well, you just said step 1, awareness. Like, okay, I'm having the aha moment right now that other people are doing this and my replacement is, right next to me. Okay, this is the trend to understand that you need to reskill if you have been laid off, right, into maybe a new industry that has been replaced. Okay. You need to upskill if you're in a job right now that certain elements, I see marketing right now, certain elements have been eliminated, but new things they have definitely had to upskill to make their job easier. So we've got a couple things there. That's the first step, is awareness. The second thing is go ahead and find one platform and sign up for it, right? Go ahead and just put a few simple questions in. It is not advanced prompt engineering, but become more advanced questions with each level. And the third thing is there are a million free courses out there. Now, I'm not a big person on free. Free, you get what you pay for. And they change. I'm telling you, AI changes every day. I can't tell you how many times my PowerPoints, my presentations have to be updated. I'm lucky that, I have AI to keep me up to date on what's happening from yesterday. So they're not updating those courses as quickly. But start with one. Go on, they'll give you where we are now, why you need to do it, where the future is going. They'll probably scare you to death, but maybe that's what you need to jumpstart. So take one of those. They'll introduce you to prompting. They'll tell you about a few platforms, but I think that's a good thing. Listen to a podcast on AI. If you're in leadership and coaching, where's leadership and coaching going? I think one of the best prompts, Mary, and this is one of the best prompts I recommend, is go on ChatGPT and ask, I am really interested in my particular industry, put your industry in, and my job as a project manager in this industry. Where do you believe my job and my industry will change because of artificial intelligence in the next year, 3 years, and 5 years? How do you believe I should start preparing now for in either reskilling or upskilling? What courses should I take? What podcasts should I listen to? What insights can you give me? And what outcomes do you think will happen if I do this? And it'll give you the hard truth about what you should do next. I think that's the first prompt that you should go ahead and ask and see where you go.
No, that makes total sense. I really appreciate that. I think it's a great answer. As we're coming down to the end of our conversation, before I ask you the final question, if you want our audience to remember a couple of things from our conversation today, Maureen, what would they be?
I think the most important one is recognize that this will be bigger than the creation of the light bulb. It is actually compared to that. It's bigger than the internet, and see how much that has changed our lives. But this is the fourth industrial revolution. This will change every aspect of how we work, how we do business, how we achieve our goals, how we make a living, how we're satisfied in our profession. So please have that aha moment and eliminate the fear and embrace what is happening. Because if you don't, you won't be able to achieve all the wonderful things that you want to. And I want to empower you to get that mindset going, right? Go from a fixed to a growth mindset and just take the first step. Doesn't have to be a huge one. We're not asking for you to dive in and become an AI advanced prompt engineering expert overnight. Just the first step. See the simple outcomes that will happen, and then you will feel more confident. But
no, I agree with that. No, I think that's great. I'm also, my other half, a few months ago, decided he wanted to get his EDD in education technology. Now he's specializing in AI, but he was someone, and he is over 65,
Okay.
He's still teaching and coaching, and he loves it. But he was someone that was a little bit like, I'm not so sure about AI. And now that he has taken a dive into it, I'd say a dive, he is having a ball and he is
Yeah.
loving. He's always been a lifelong learner, so that was easy. He's reinvented himself as many times as I have, if not more. However, the fear, I think, that you spoke about early on has dissipated and disappeared. So I would just encourage, again, as you are, others that, just start something small, baby steps, as we like to say. So I think it's great advice. Maureen, all of our guests that we have on Prime Life podcast, we always finish with our final question. Now, I don't know you super well, but I know you well enough to see that you have accomplished quite a bit in your career. Being an entrepreneur now, but even in your background of all the awards you've won in marketing, teaching at UPenn, Wharton, et cetera, et cetera. You could get up and do anything at all. Why do you get up every day and do what you do now at this point? What's your why?
I think my why is because of seeing the impact that I've made on people. How many people have been so incredibly distressed on what has happened to them, both being displaced, not being able to make an income, and knowing that becoming an entrepreneur is a very good way to be successful if they do it right. And so many people, honestly, Mary, and you know this, do it wrong. And because I made a horrible, like my first business was a nightmare and I was able to salvage it, but through a terrible amount of mistakes that I have learned and been able to teach people to avoid. So that experience I bring in the trenches with people and helping them build successful businesses and see them be able to reinvent themselves and being able to have a successful company by doing it right is so incredibly rewarding. And I'm a builder. I love building businesses, selling businesses. That's really, so I kind of do it with them and it's so enjoyable. So seeing those outcomes is very rewarding and making a difference there. I think that's really why I do what I do. And now it's just a little bit different. It's getting people back to work because I've seen people with being ghosted, 200 resumes, not a phone call, the distress and how that just kills their confidence, brings them down. It is, I think, one of the worst things that could happen to people. And instead of building businesses now, we have a great opportunity to get these people feeling really good about teaching them something so innovative that the value prop is differentiating themselves to get them back to work. Because not everybody's an entrepreneur.
I agree.
Not
And
everybody.
I think when you learn something new and it's transformational, you get so much energy from that and excitement. And that can really offset perhaps that feeling of like, oh no, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now, and I'm not sure. So keep up that great work that you're doing. You're helping so many others. Maureen, if individuals or companies want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Go to my website, which is ingennicom.com, and it'll be in the show notes. You can go ahead and email me directly, or you can fill out a contact form. My email is maureen@ingennicom.com. So shoot me over an email anytime. Of course, I'm active on LinkedIn. We have a company page, and I'm Maureen Gaige-Edwards on LinkedIn. So go ahead and direct message me. And I'm very good at responding very quickly.
I really appreciate you responding to my request to come on Prime Life.
Yeah.
Once being your student and enjoying your course so much. And I love that we stay connected, and I'm looking forward to watching you and hearing more about what you're up to. Have you back on again. To all of our listeners, our audience, thank you so much for supporting the Prime Life podcast. Tell your friends, your colleagues about us. Give us a thumbs up, hopefully. Tell us what you don't like. We love feedback. It's the greatest gift you can give someone. And we'll look forward to being with you again next week on the Prime Life podcast. Thank you again, Maureen, for joining me today. It was delightful.
Thank you, Mary, for having me. And good luck, everybody. Get out there. Learn AI.
Remember to subscribe to the Prime Life podcast anywhere you find podcasts. You can find all of our episodes, contact information, and more on our website, primelifepodcast.com. Stay connected with us. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.